A quick new idea, daily, from the world's greatest TEDx talks. I'm your host, Atossa Leoni, and this is TEDx Shorts. Can you guess what instrument is making that noise? Rym Nouioua composes music from a source many of us would consider unexpected: bats. Rym is an ecologist, bat researcher, and artist who's very devoted to our flying friends. And in today's talk, she's here to share information and appreciation for these incredible creatures.
Well, what we just listened to was just made out of bat sounds. Or to make it more specific, it was made out of more or less 50 different bat sounds. First, let me start with some general information about these beautiful animals, the bats. Bats are the only mammals capable of flying, and without bats, the ecosystem would simply not work. This is because bats can be seed dispersers, pollinators, we have fruit-eating bats, and also insect predators and even more. So to us, this means that without bats, we wouldn't have stuff like chocolate, mangoes. I mean, those are all things that we all do appreciate, I think. Especially tequila is highly depending on bats. However, the most astonishing things about bats is that they use sound to see and interact with their physical environment through echolocation. Therefore, they emit calls over their mouth and their nose, which are reflected by their surroundings. And these sounds are usually inaudible to us. So on the one hand, bats use the sonar system to measure the distance to the next object or other surroundings, for example, to locate their prey. And on the other hand, they use it to communicate. And those interspecific communication sounds are called social calls. And I'd like to show you an example of that. So, and from these sounds, you can learn a lot about their social behavior. And in fact, bats are highly social animals. Not just that they can determine if there's another species around, but they also respond to individual names. They form communities, they communicate with their offspring, they point out hunting groups, they help each other out while catching insects. And some bats, like the vampire bats, even share their blood prey among themselves. So this language that bats use in their social interaction has particularly impressed me. However, scientific research remains limited in making sense of these sounds. So today we are only able to categorize 4 different social call types. Firstly, aggression and threat. Secondly, distress calls, for example, by being caught, like this one over here. Thirdly, isolation calls, for example, when an infant is isolated from its mother. And fourthly, we have advertisement calls, for example, mating calls. And I'd like to show you an example of that as well. So, because I really like those song-like things they do. Yeah, yet I remain hopeful that one day we'll be able to understand whole conversations between those creatures. Through analyzing those sounds that bats make, one can notice a rhythm, a tag, or melodies, just like the ones in regular songs that our ears are used to. So basically, we can say bats are creatures which produce arts just as we humans do. And we can learn from them and see that we have common ways of functioning and interacting. And I mean, we can take this even further. Let's take climate change as an example. Changes in climate affect not only humans, but also animals. And animals experience such environmental changes differently than we do. So that's why I think it's important to make ecology a part of the art world, to point those different experiences out. And well, as I said, human perception is limited. So let's get away from all this human-centristic view of things and let's start being part of an interactive ecosystem.
The TEDx talk you just listened to was recorded at a TEDx event in Freiburg, Germany. All TEDx events are independently organized by volunteers who believe in TED's mission of ideas worth spreading. Special thanks to the organizing team at TEDxFreiburg. Want to listen to more TEDx talks? Visit our website at ted.com/TEDxShorts. I'm Atossa Leoni. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.